Hey there, my name is Anne, and this is The Story Project. Now, you might be asking, what the heck is this about? Well, I was curious about how well AI can create a fictional short story. So, driven by my curiosity, I created prompts, collaborated with AI on a draft, I offer direction for rewrites, and then do a dramatic reading of the final story. The prompts for this story are: I wanted a romantic comedy set in a corporate office with a workplace romance. And it wouldn't be a rom-com without witty, playful banter, and with some emotional tension underneath. The catch? Workplace relationships are completely prohibited, unless one of them gets promoted and becomes the boss. And that was it. That was the prompt. AI created the script and the title, and I, a human being person, will perform it. Now, I really want to make this a truly collaborative channel, so let me hear your thoughts. Feel free to leave suggestions for a story prompt, or even share your thoughts about how this story landed. Now, without further ado, here's the story we built. Performance Review. When HR sent the company-wide email announcing the vice president position, the entire 12th floor went quiet. Except for Julia. Julia Martinez leaned back in her chair, read the subject line twice, and muttered, "Well, that's inconvenient." Across the aisle, Daniel Harper looked up from his laptop. "Inconvenient?" he asked. "Most people call that an opportunity." "Most people," she replied without looking at him, "don't sit 6 feet away from their direct competition." Daniel smiled slowly. "So you are applying?" "I didn't say that." "You didn't have to." Julia finally glanced at him, one eyebrow raised. "You're applying?" "I didn't say that either." "Please," she scoffed. "You've been dressing like a LinkedIn profile picture for 2 weeks." He looked down at his tailored blazer. "It's called ambition." "It's called dry cleaning anxiety." Their coworkers pretended not to listen, but everyone knew 2 things about Julia and Daniel. 1, they were the strongest candidates for the promotion, and 2, there was something happening between them that absolutely should not be. Company policy was explicit: no workplace relationships within reporting lines or adjacent departments. No exceptions, unless one of them became the other's supervisor, which, as of this morning, was very much on the table. 3 days later, they were assigned to co-lead the quarterly strategy presentation. "Of course," Julia said flatly when her boss made the announcement. "Why not make this even more emotionally complicated?" Daniel leaned against her desk. "We could just be adults about it." "That sounds suspicious." "We compete, we let the best candidate win. We pretend this," he gestured between them, "isn't distracting." "And if I win?" she asked. "Then I'll have to call you ma'am in meetings. And if you win," he paused, "then I'll have to pretend I don't enjoy that." She laughed before she could stop herself. That was the problem. It was easy with him. Too easy. Late Thursday night, the office was nearly empty. Only half the lights were on. The city glowed through the windows. "You don't have to stay," Daniel said, watching her revise the final slide. "I do. It's almost 11. I like knowing I did everything I could." "That's not about the presentation." She didn't answer. He leaned back in his chair. "This doesn't have to be a war," he said carefully. "It's not." "It feels like one." She turned to him. "That promotion changes things." "How?" "If I win, I become your boss. If you win, you become mine. And I don't mix feelings with leverage." There it was. Not policy, control. He softened. "Julia, this isn't leverage." "It is if one of us outranks the other." "And if neither of us does?" She hesitated. "That's not how this works." "Is that about the job?" he asked quietly. "Or about you not wanting to owe anyone anything?" That landed too close. She stood. "We should finish the deck." "Julia, I don't want to lose to you," she admitted. He smiled slightly. "I don't want to lose to you either." "That's not what I meant." Their eyes held. The air shifted. "That's exactly why we can't do this," she said. And when she stepped back, it wasn't professional. It was protective. The promotion decision came 2 weeks later. They were called in separately. Julia went first, and when she returned, she didn't sit down. "Well?" Daniel asked. "They hired externally." He blinked. "Of course they did." "They offered me Director of Strategic Initiatives." His brows lifted. "That reports directly to the new VP." "Yes." Different reporting structure, different lanes, no technical violation. Silence stretched between them. "So," he said carefully, stepping closer, That means, she replied, steady but softer than usual, "we don't work in competing lanes anymore." No jokes, no deflection. "For weeks," he said quietly, "I have been pretending this was about the promotion. I know. I didn't want to complicate things for you." "You didn't." "That's not what I meant. Julia," he said gently, "if this still isn't something you want, tell me now." He was giving her control, an exit. She studied him, the version of him who backed off when she pulled away, the version who hadn't tried to win her like a contract, the version who waited. No competition left to hide behind, no policy to blame. This wasn't leverage. This was choice. She stepped forward. "Stop giving me exits," she said quietly. "I'm not competing with you anymore," she continued, "and I'm not outranking you." "Good. And I don't owe you anything." "I know." Her voice softened. "But I want this." That was it. Not surrender, not impulse. A decision. He didn't make the first move. She closed the final inch. The kiss was steady, intentional, weeks in the making. When they pulled apart, she didn't step back. "Well," he said softly, resting his forehead against hers, "I'm pretty sure this wasn't covered in the employee handbook." "It was," she replied, very clearly. And I've decided to ignore it." He smiled. "That feels reckless." "No," she said, brushing imaginary lint from his blazer. "Reckless would be opening a quarterly presentation with a pie chart." He laughed under his breath. "You're never letting that go, are you?" "Absolutely not." She turned toward her desk, then paused. "Besides," she added lightly, "you only use pie charts when you're trying to make something look bigger than it is." He blinked. "Was that professional critique or personal?" She smiled. "Compete with me and find out." And somewhere down the hall, the new VP would later comment that the quarterly strategy deck had never felt so cohesive.